Josh will also be up here. Jackson from ATF. The defendant has been charged with the following: 3 counts of murder, 1 count of possession of a firearm by a felon, 1 count of possession of ammunition by a felon, in regards to 3 of the victims at this point. That is Jonathan Hernandez, 21, who was killed on August 30th. Juan Cruz, 52, killed on September 21st. Lawrence Lopez, 54, killed on September 27th. There are 2 more murder victims in an attempted murder. We will be making further charging decisions in relation to those cases in the next coming weeks. As you know, this investigation is moving rapidly. Saturday morning at 1:30 a.m., we brought the suspect into custody. It's been a short window of time for us to process all of the information and evidence we have, but we are working around the clock. We charged the cases today because we believe we have sufficient evidence to pursue these charges and prove them beyond a reasonable doubt. We are also confident that additional charges will be added. We would like to remind the public that this investigation is ongoing, and in no way does our charging determination today end or conclude this investigation. We have more work to do. We are still dedicating valuable resources to uncovering the truth and to hold this defendant accountable. My office has been in communication with the families. I had the privilege of meeting them this afternoon. Each of these families and their victims, their loved ones that they have lost, we will continue to support them through this very difficult process. I offer my sincere condolences. No family should have to endure what they are currently going through. I understand that the public is searching for answers, just like these families. Please know we will not be able to share certain pieces of information in order to maintain the integrity of the case and ultimately ensure justice is obtained for these grieving families. Per Stockton Police Department, officers arrested the defendant approximately 1:30 a.m. on Saturday morning. This was an individual law enforcement had identified as a person of interest. Due to their investigative skills, hard work, and dedication to public safety, and through the assistance of information from the community, they were able to make a determination. Based upon the pattern of behavior that they witnessed, they were able at that time to arrest the suspect in this case. A firearm was found in the defendant's possession of a similar caliber of the weapon used in the 5 homicides here and the 6th in Oakland. Police quickly shared the gun with ATF, and the amount of work that they did in partnership with us is amazing. We can confirm with high confidence the same gun was used in the 3 homicides that I'm charging you with today. There are some people who are just simply too dangerous to share the streets with you and I. Rest assured, my administration will prosecute the defendant to the full extent of the law to ensure the safety of our community and other communities like ours who may have been victimized by this defendant. I would like to extend my gratitude to the men and women of the Stockton Police Department. The capture of the defendant would not have been possible without the countless hours and investigative skill shown by the department. Thank you, Chief. Deputy Chief Nance, Lieutenant Brad Burrell, Captain Lane, PIO and Detective Joey Silva, and so many others worked on this case, hundreds of people, and particularly those officers and partners in law enforcement that were on the street fighting and figuring out this crime, knocking on doors, accumulating evidence, you name it, they did it. And so I can't name them all because it's in the hundreds, but please know that each and every one of them is appreciated by not only me and my office, but this entire community. So thank you, Chief, for the work that you've done here. To our fellow law enforcement partners across this county and across the state and at the federal level, including ATF, who generously donated an additional $25,000 to the reward and provided amazing resources for us to ensure that this suspect would be in custody in a swift amount of time. To the Bureau of Investigations for answering the call of SPD and assisting in the tip line, investigative resources, and all the hours brought forth, including our partnership with the sheriff. To the prosecuting attorneys in this case, Chief Deputy District Attorney Robert Himmelblau, Supervising District Attorney Caitlin Casey, and Deputy District Attorney Elton Grau, for their dedication and around-the-clock response to this crime and every other crime that we fight every day. In particular, I want to thank the public. Stockton heard the call, and the residents of this great city answered. Hundreds of tips a day came through the hotline. This case is a prime example of why trust in law enforcement is so crucial to public safety. We trusted law enforcement, and law enforcement trusted the community, and together that trust led to the arrest and apprehension of this defendant. We simply cannot protect our communities without support from our community. And we are grateful to everyone who provided tips that led to this arrest and now the prosecution. We are grateful to all. As the district attorney here, it is my job to ensure the integrity and the ethics and the professionalism of this case. As so, today we'll be providing you with information. Going forward, we'll update you as to additional charges that may be coming forward. And at that point, we'll be limiting the amount of information that we can release to the public in order to ensure that we're not trying this case in the public forum, but instead in a courtroom where it belongs. So I ask for your patience and understanding in knowing that going forward, we will be limiting the ability to share information. At this point, I'd like to introduce Liliana to come up and read a statement, please.
Buenas tardes. Hoy la fiscal de distrito del condado de San Joaquín, Tori Verber Salazar, anunció los cargos iniciales contra el acusado Wesley Brownlee, de 43 años, en relación con la serie de homicidios en Stockton. El acusado está acusado de 3 cargos de asesinato, un cargo de posesión de un arma de fuego por un delincuente y un cargo de posesión de municiones por un delincuente. Hoy tenemos pruebas suficientes para perseguir 3 cargos de homicidio y confiamos en que se agregarán cargos adicionales a la denuncia a medida que avance la investigación, dijo la fiscal del distrito Tori Verber Salazar. No hay lugar en nuestra sociedad para individuos con un desprecio tan flagrante por la vida humana. Mi administración procesará al acusado con todo el peso de la ley. Nuestras más sinceras condolencias están con las familias de las víctimas durante este momento extremadamente difícil. Según el Departamento de Policía de Stockton, los oficiales estaban vigilando a una persona de interés en relación con la reciente serie de homicidios. Debido al patrón de comportamiento exhibido por el individuo, los oficiales del Departamento de Policía de Stockton tenían una sospecha razonable e iniciaron el contacto. Wesley Brown fue arrestado durante el inventario de su vehículo y persona. Se encontró un arma de fuego de calibre similar al arma utilizado en los homicidios. Debido a la asociación con ATF, el arma de fuego fue procesada y la oficina de la fiscal del distrito del condado de San Joaquín puede confirmar con alta confianza que la fiscal ha hecho un arresto. La oficina del fiscal del distrito del condado de San Joaquín desea reconocer al fiscal de distrito adjunto en jefe Robert Himmelblau y su equipo, al Departamento de Policía de Stockton, a otras agencias policiales locales, estatales y federales, incluidos ATF y California Department of Justice, y a la Oficina de Investigaciones por la colaboración en la investigación y detención de sospechoso. Además, la oficina quisiera agradecer a la comunidad de Stockton por su ayuda en la captura del acusado. Este caso es un excelente ejemplo de cómo la asociación comunitaria y el compromiso con las fuerzas del orden dan como resultado una mayor seguridad pública. Gracias.
Thank you, Liliana. I'd like to ask ATF Agent Joshua Jackson, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Joshua Jackson. I'm an assistant special agent in charge with ATF assigned to the San Francisco Field Division, currently sitting as the acting special agent in charge for our division. ATF and Stockton PD have a long history of working partnerships, and this partnership and working together is no different in this investigation. Specific to this investigation, some of the resources that ATF brought to bear: ATF special agents, ATF task force officers, ATF and intelligence research specialists. These professionals were able to develop crime gun intelligence to pass back to the investigative team. Specifically to crime gun intelligence, something that was extensively used throughout this investigation was ATF's National Integrated Ballistic Information Network, NIBIN. We use NIBIN to help solve some of these shooting events. It allows us to connect shooting events that may appear to be isolated and unrelated. Allows us to connect those, coordinate additional resources so that we can pull our resources together and treat it as an all hands on deck approach in reducing violent crime. And that was experienced very much so in this investigation. Allows us to identify those who are responsible for shooting events. It also allows us to stop shooting events from occurring in the future when we act as a team in a partnership as we did in this investigation. This investigation is not over. We're moving into the criminal adjudication phase at this moment, and it's going to take a lot of work during that as well. ATF is going to remain a partner to Stockton PD and the San Joaquin District Attorney's Office throughout that. And last and most importantly, I definitely want to notice and make note to the family and friends in the community at large who are hurting. We understand you're hurting, you're grieving due to your lost ones you lost, and also to folks that were injured in this series of violent and senseless acts that occurred. We hope that these arrests and these announcements help let you all know that we're not getting off the gas. We are moving into this next phase, the criminal adjudication phase, so we'll be successful and make sure justice is done. And those who are responsible for this, the person responsible for this, is held accountable. Thank you.
Thank you. Also today, often we think about the defendant and what the charges are and what's going forward with that. But today in our office, in my office, it's equally important that we're taking care of these families. So they are working with our victim witness. Thank you, Liliana and Gabby, our Family Justice Center. And now we have our support group down working with them as well, because we want to make sure that they understand that we're here to support them through this journey, and that we will be by them, right by their side throughout it. So today is also about telling you about what's going to go happen procedurally from the criminal justice arm, but we're also going to let you know that we are taking very good care of these families with every tool and resource we have. Here in San Joaquin County, in particular here in Stockton, this individual thought he could come to our community and do harm. It's not in our house. You do not get to come into our house and do this kind of crime and this kind of harm and not think that SPD is not going to bring the rain down on you and find you and hold you fully accountable. And they did that, just that, in partnership with this community. But as we move forward, we need further partnership. And that's from our community-based organizations to help this entire community heal. As Joshua was saying, the victims, the survivors, the families, unimaginable what they're going through. But also as a community, we have suffered under the reign of this terror. So today, we're going to move forward, and we're going to use every tool and resource, every investigative opportunity we have, every best evidence practice, and also every tool we can in healing these families and this community. With that, I'll take a couple questions.
This man is still a mystery. Can you tell us anything about who he is and why he did this?
All I can tell you is that we know that he was a truck driver and recently moved to Stockton this past summer.
Big rig trucks?
I believe so. He's interstate trucker, excuse me.
Any relationships, a family, a wife, a partner?
He does have some family in the community, not very many.
Are you able to tell us about the 3 other homicides, 2 in Stockton and 1 in Oakland? What is it at this point that's holding up charging him in those? I thought that the ballistics connected all 7 of the incidents, the 1 survivor and the 6 murders.
We're waiting for additional evidence to be processed through that will most likely, we believe, will allow us the opportunity to add those additional charges. But when we go to court, we are ethically bound to only charge based upon the evidence that we have in front of us and that we can prove beyond a reasonable doubt. For background purposes, a defense attorney could go time not waived today, and we would have to prelim this case in 10 days. So when I charged today, or our team charged the case last night and this morning, we have to do based on what we have right here in front of us at this moment. We're only 4 days into this. So you have to understand that there's going to be hundreds and hundreds of reports, maybe even thousands of reports in this case, before we have a full visual of what we're dealing with. So charges will be amended as time goes on. It's just going to take a little bit more time.
Are all 7 incidents still connected by ballistics? Is that still true?
Yes.
So with the 3 others that have not been charged and the 1 attempted homicide, do you think this gun was used? I mean, it was still connected by ballistics. I'm just wondering like what the holdup is specifically with evidence that the 3 cases had, that these 4 other ones didn't, if it was all connected to ballistics.
There's additional evidence that we've been able to ascertain through the great work of these detectives here in Stockton Police Department. And that evidence allowed us to move forward on 3 cases today. We believe it'll allow us to move forward on the remaining counts. We're just waiting for that information to be fully processed.
And for that 7th incident, for the woman who did survive this, I didn't hear talk about that in the courtroom, and I haven't heard yet about that 1 attempted case. How will that be involved with all of this? So far, we have the 3 homicides that are charged and the 3 that we're waiting to charge on. What about the survivor case?
And she's also, the attempted murder is also pending additional information
Will
and
the
evidence.
reward be given out in this case?
That's a determination that wasn't covered by my office, but that is being looked at right now as we speak, for the individuals that did assist us with Claire and gave us a tremendous amount of assistance.
Is there a home address for him? Do you know where he lived at this time? Well, in the city, did he live in Stockton? Do you have a physical address?
He lived in Stockton, yes.
Is this a death penalty case or will it be?
It's a special circumstance case. So when he was charged with 3 counts of murders, he also has the enhancement for being a felon in possession of ammunition, but also the use of a weapon, 12022.53 in the commission. Those are all either enhancements, but the one that allows it to be a consideration for a life without the possibility of parole or the death penalty is the special circumstance. And that special circumstance is under the Penal Code Section 190.2, and it reflects multiple murders.
Were any of these considered hate crimes because some of the victims were of the same race?
We're looking into that. That's still part of the ongoing investigation, and that there is a potential there could be additional charges in that arena as well. So we're developing that evidence.
How do you reassure the public that is still fearful out there that perhaps there's someone else out there, another serial killer? There was a homicide this morning that San Joaquin County Sheriffs were at. And people were posting on social media, he's still out there, the serial killer is still going at, what do you say to those folks?
We reached out to the sheriff's office this morning. There is no connection or correlation between any of the incident or the evidence that occurred in the early morning unfortunate taking of another, community member's life. We believe beyond a reasonable doubt that we have the right suspect in custody. We wouldn't charge the case if we didn't have sufficient evidence to believe that is true and correct. So we believe we have the person responsible. At this point, we're going to proceed on the 3 that we have, and I'm very, very positive that in the near future, you'll be hearing of additional charges as well.
And in court today, it was revealed that there was cellular data connecting the suspect to at least these 3 murders. Is he connected with cellular data to all of these cases?
It's an ongoing investigation, Kurt. We're developing every lead we can. These officers have been working nonstop for the last 90 days, and we've been working every angle that we possibly can. So we will go over this case with a fine-tune, comb, and we will make sure that no stone is unturned, and that we will follow any leads that it takes us. But at this point, I have no doubt that we have the suspect in custody.
Was this a ghost gun?
We're not going to comment on that right now.
Well, it was announced in court today.
Okay, all right.
That was a ghost gun. Was the ghost gun used in all of the cases here?
I'm just going to say it was a weapon that was used. It's a polymer. We'll make that final determination. But yes, if the information has been released to you, then we'll discuss it.
Did he know any of the victims personally?
We're not going to go into that kind of detail today. This is an ongoing investigation, and we're continuing to develop it. And
You said he's not from Stockton. Where is he? What's his connection to Stockton?
we believe his primary area of region was in Oakland area, in the Bay Area, but he was recently just relocated to here.
Do you know anything about his past criminal history with ties to Alameda County and Oakland, and if any mental health issues play a part in all of that?
I'm sorry, I'm just gonna.
We're not going to comment on mental health. We've had a suspect in custody for 4 days, so there's no way we can make any determination in regards to that. He has a prior criminal history, which was mentioned in the charging document. He is a felon, and he's a felon in possession. Those were drug-related offenses, and they originate out of Oakland, Alameda County.
Chief,
While we're
can I-
communicating, can you say if the photo of the handgun that was released by police and your team, is that the ghost gun that had connected to the 3 charged homicides? Is this all the same gun we're looking at and talking about? I just want to over communicate that so we're all on the same page.
Go ahead and repeat your question, please.
So the photo that was released of that handgun earlier on in the investigation, is that the same handgun that was found on his person when he was arrested? Is that the same handgun that is a ghost gun that's connected to the 3 homicides that are being charged? Is this all the same firearm?
So I can tell you right now is a photograph of the gun in the picture was what was on him when he was arrested. And we're still doing additional ballistic evidence as far as its interconnectivity of the cases.
But that is the murder weapon?
That's still part of the investigation that we're continuing.
Chief, do you believe that there are more cases than just the 7 out there right now?
Well, we're going to stay tenacious. We don't know how many cases there are. That's why we still have our tip lines. That's why we're still partnering with our neighboring agencies. That's why we still have this incredible all-star team of a task force, just so we can overturn every stone and see what we have out there.
And the fact
Between
that
the
the
ballistics testing, connected to the 3 cases and the gun the defendant had when he was arrested, do we have an estimate of how many weapons this defendant was using, or at least how many weapons?
That's part of the ongoing investigation.
Is there any reason to believe that there are any other suspects out there? You guys say you guys want the community to keep giving tips. Is there anyone out there that people should be afraid of?
We have absolutely no reason to believe that there's anyone out there that you should fear in regards to these cases, but we do want the tips out because we know there's people that know information about incidents that happen, and we need those people to come forward.
Chief,
the
yesterday
fact
we were
that-
able
the
to.
fact
We're
that
gonna,
he was a truck driver.
we're gonna stop here. Thank you guys so much for your questions. Go ahead, you guys, right out this door. Thank you. I have my card on me. Our press statement